Also attending the ASEAN summit, the UK, which last year became the bloc's dialogue partner. The partnership is the first that ASEAN has agreed to in 25 years. So joining us for an exclusive interview to tell us more about Britain's pivot to the Indo-Pacific is Greg Hands, Minister of State for Trade Policy of the UK's Department for International Trade. He is speaking to us live from Phnom Penh in Cambodia. Mr. Hands, a warm welcome to you. As a dialogue partner to ASEAN, what does the UK hope to bring to the table at ASEAN? The usual issues from predecessors include expanding trade, creating jobs, security issues. Are you going to go deep on these issues, or is there something new?
Well, it's going to be, we're hoping for a very deep relationship. As you rightly point out, we're the first new dialogue partner. We were previously, through membership of the European Union, a dialogue partner, but we're now independent in our own right to be a dialogue partner. ASEAN is a very important region for the UK, with our own policy move to the Indo-Pacific. 700 million people in the ASEAN region. We do at the moment 40 billion of trade between the UK and ASEAN. We're really keen to work really closely with ASEAN going forward on the economic side, the development side as well, security. All of these things will be a big part of that dialogue.
You know, perhaps, though, one of the most meaningful, authentic ways in which you can express that commitment to ASEAN would be by signing the CPTPP, the intentions of which your previous government said was to be the first European country to sign that. Is that still the case? Is it still on track, or what might be the holdup?
Yeah, well, it's very much on track. We are trying to be the first country in the world to join CPTPP on top of its 11 founding members. We are looking to join that really as soon as possible. I think it would be a big move for the UK and a big move for CPTPP. Overnight, CPTPP would grow from being about 12% of world GDP to about 15%. It greatly increases the global reach of CPTPP, and it's exactly the sort of thing the UK likes. It's with our natural free trade advocates, free trade partners around the world. We've got Japan in there, we've got Singapore in there, we've got Vietnam in there, yes. Australia, New Zealand, Canada. These are all really natural pro-free trade partners, the UK.
And since the intention was made public last year to join, what's been the holdup?
Well, it's a new process. We're the first country to join CPTPP. I think the CPTPP partners wanted to make sure the process is thorough. We totally respect that. We've had a number of meetings. We're moving forward at a brisk pace. We had a further meeting in Sydney just 2 or 3 weeks ago, which moved things forward in a very concrete way. The CPTPP 11 want to make it happen. The UK wants to make it happen. We are moving forward in a really good, constructive and strong way.
That's good news. Now, I want to talk a bit about the UK's re-engagement, so-called pivot to ASEAN. Would you agree that it's this part of the pivot is more than just trade, but also a part of a wider tilt towards countering the influence of China in the region?
Well, look, I think it's an important region for us in its own right. Our integrated review, which is a government policy document published last year, was very explicit about the importance of the Asia-Pacific region in its entirety. Most of the world's economic growth is happening here in the next 10 years, and it's really important that the UK gets a piece of that action. There's a lot of things the UK can offer the region, for example, on digital transformation, for example, our expertise on infrastructure, renewable energy, education, the English language. There's a huge amount the UK can offer the region. So it's more than just trade. Trade is a big part of that, but it's also a wider offer to the whole region, the UK, with a lot of traditional partnerships that we've got through the region, a lot of trade partnerships, a lot of strategic partnerships, and it's a natural place for the UK to be wanting to increase our presence in.
Good to hear, but is it too soon for the UK to actually be able to quantify yet if and how this tilt to the Indo-Pacific, this strategy has already successfully boosted your standing in the region in terms of security and the economy? Can you quantify that?
Well, some of these things are hard to put a number on, of course, but I think our partners here through the region have noticed the UK's increased interest in the region, increased engagement. That's one of the reasons I'm here in Cambodia today, is for the ASEAN meeting to show that the UK is fully engaged. The last meeting, the virtual one, I was at this equivalent meeting 4 years ago in Singapore as well. So there's a continuing engagement from the UK with ASEAN and really throughout the region. I think you'll see an increasing frequency of UK ministers coming through the area. And that's going to be something important for us to show on a number of fronts, that the UK, as the world's fifth largest economy, is really keen to be engaging here with ASEAN and the other big economies of the Asia-Pacific region.
Mr. Hans, you've just visited Taiwan, a visit which generated an angry response from China. Could you clarify for us the UK's stand on China? I ask because the previous administration characterized their hope for a so-called healthy relationship with China, while Rishi Sunak, the leader of this government, has labelled China as one of the biggest long-term threats to Britain. Which is it now?
Well, look, government policy on China is unchanged. We have a constructive relationship. We are right on the front foot in criticizing China, for example, in its practices in Hong Kong, its practices in Xinjiang as well. Those are some things the UK does not shy away from, whilst recognizing that we can have a relationship with China. We can have a trade relationship with China as well. I thought it was important to be in Taiwan to show our support for Taiwan and to move forward our own economic relationship with Taiwan. We've got an £8 billion trade relationship with Taiwan. And we're doing a lot of really important things in Taiwan, like working really closely on their new offshore wind sector, renewable energy sector. A couple of days ago, as I'm in Taichung looking at the Formosa 2 offshore wind project. There's about 80 UK companies involved in Taiwan and offshore wind. So a lot of it is really practical use of United Kingdom expertise in helping to build that relationship with Taiwan. I was delighted to meet again Taiwan's president, President Tsai, for talks again just yesterday. It's a really important relationship for the UK as well with Taiwan.
I wonder what did Taiwan say was what they wanted from the UK to get out of these talks, and you've alluded to what the UK wants. You've alluded to a lot of these trade deals in the sustainability area, but what did Taiwan want?
Well, I think Taiwan also recognizes it's a good relationship for them. They have, for example, a strategy to be bilingual by 2030, Chinese-English. And which better country is available and willing to help and has that expertise to help on the English side of that bilingualism than the United Kingdom? So we are there to help with our excellent universities, our schools offer, our British Council offer. There's a number of reasons why the UK is really well placed to help Taiwan in many of its key strategies, like renewable energy, like digital, like education.
Yeah, that leads to my next question, because I'm wondering, is there a way of actually differentiating how the UK can engage economically with Taiwan versus geopolitically, so that they actually get the benefits of that link with the UK to strengthen Taiwan where they need it most, while minimizing all the gestures that may be triggers for China? Is there a sweet spot?
Well, look, I think the UK and Taiwan are, if you like, natural partners, island democracies. We share many similar outlooks on the world: free trade, free markets, democracy. But there's a lot that we could be doing together bilaterally, which is principally my visit was looking at that assistance we can provide for Taiwan. We're also keen to get more Taiwanese investment to come into the UK. That's also a key part of our dialogue with Taiwan. So it's a very successful visit. We've got good relations there.
Well, we do appreciate you coming in and speaking extensively and exclusively with CNA, Mr. Greg Hands, Minister of State for Trade Policy and the UK's Department for International Trade. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.